All right, I think we're up and running. We're back. This is welcome to the vinyl collection. This is episode 8, I believe. We've been doing this long time, it seems. It just let's figure out what this was. Let me tell you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Got to say that. Hit the subscribe. So this started, I was just bored at home and I was kind of curious what was in my record collection. It's been so long since I actually looked through it, and you get kind of bored at home and you remember the good times of just sitting on the floor and flipping through records. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do that live on a live stream on the channel here that everyone's subscribing to, and we'll see what's in here live. And then I started doing that. I'm just pulling out records randomly. I'm not, researching them, finding out what's in there. We're just discovering live what's going in. So I started at Z and worked my way back. And then some major internet vinyl celebrities got in contact with me and said, hey, I'd love to show some of my stuff too. I said, that's a great idea. We can get you guys in. You can show off your stuff and we'll have more opinions on what I have and what I should turf and what I should keep. And that's kind of where it developed from there. We started, Kevin Buried on Mars from Retro Fandango came in, and Matt Bandy from the Matt Bandy fame. He writes for Pastoral Weekly. You can check that out. And finally, we got Jake from Polykill Podcast. He came in, and all these guys will come in and they'll show you some far out records, and they'll have good time stories behind it. They know what they're talking about. It's I sit in awe when they show you their stuff because it is mint, it is gorgeous, and they know about it. Meanwhile, I just pull my thing, go, what? Yeah, I said pull my thing. I pull something and go, I don't know what this is, but is this any good? Maybe. I don't know. So that's where I'm at. I'm just looking through randomly. They show you the good stuff, and we do this kind of this broadcast. We got the chat going. Hello to Techno Dork. Producer Jay is in there. I saw Sean from the Game Buzz podcast in there. So you're in the chat. You're in the show. We'll talk to you. I also put the link for this broadcast in the chat. So if you wanted to call in and say hi live on this show, just click the link and you'll pop right in there, and we'll say hi to you and then kick you out. Because we got big time callers on this show too. I don't know if you've seen the last couple episodes, big time callers. So stay tuned for that. So we are down to, for myself, like I said, we started at Z. We worked our way back, and I am now in the C's. We went through the D's. We're in the C's, and some people are saying we went all the way through D's and didn't see any Dylan. You're a big Bob guy. What's the deal? I'm not good at putting my stuff away or organizing. So a lot of some artists get grouped together and they're in a whole nother shelf, and we'll get to them as this show winds down. We're going to have big time collections of Bob, big time collections of, this and that, Streisand, everything will be there. So we're alphabetical in a way, but at the end, things get a little wild. So anyways, enough of me chatting. Let's bring in our big time guests here so you can see what they look like. First of all, as always, happy to bring on Matt Bandy of Matt Bandy fame. We'll bring him into the stream right there. Hey, Matt.
Hello, world. Oh, wait. That's the wrong show. Hey,
Jeez,
Bill.
That would be a big time show if that was the deal. Yeah,
that would be huge.
It's good to see you, Matt.
Good to see you too.
You are hot off the presses of a big time show that you were just on that I watched, Retro Fandango.
That was a lot of fun. Got to talk about some sword and sorcery, oily muscle-bound men swinging swords.
Oh, I thought it was about this guy.
Oh yeah, Conzi. Huh?
As well, we have Jake from the Polykill Podcast. Bring Jake in. How's it going, sir?
Oh, hey.
Hey.
How are y'all?
Jake the Destroyer. He's in his magnificent cathedral domed enclave there.
The yurt.
Yeah.
The yurt. Lovely. How's your day been?
It's been a busy one. I just did a boxing workout that I hadn't done in a couple of months because our gym's finally reopened with outdoor stuff. And I am depleted of hydration and calories. So
Well,
going to be sore.
He's spent. He's spent. Gyms are opening up. I don't agree with people going out to these things, by the way.
This was outside. Outside.
I don't agree with it.
Let's just kept my distance.
Let's just stay home. That's all I'm saying. Let's stay home, everybody.
Right. Don't go thrifting. That's what you're saying.
Do not go thrifting. Finally, as we talked about with Matt Bandy on the Retro Fandango show, we got the Fandango guy himself, Big Cheese, Kevin Buried on Mars. He runs that program over there, and he's on the vinyl show.
Somehow I've run out of calories, and I'm completely dehydrated too, but all I did was watch a movie today, so I don't know how that happened.
It can happen, depending on the movie. I mean,
it was an emotional movie. It was a little emotional, so.
All right.
Yeah.
What'd you watch?
The Descendants with George Clooney.
Wasn't that by like a Brad Bird or something?
It's apparently by the guy who did the
Incredibles or something.
Sideways movie.
Oh, okay.
I think
I'm thinking of a different movie altogether.
Anyways, it was really good.
Cool.
It was excellent.
Yeah, I bet you we'll hear more about that somewhere.
Somewhere, but not here. It might be Mars approved. Who knows? It might.
Oh, good. Hello to Frantic Josh in the chat and Adam popping in. So we got lots of people want to see some vinyl action. Yeah. Lots of people see some vinyl. So I did. I watched the latest Fandango. It was on YouTube, so I got to watch that. It was streamed live. You didn't tell anyone it was streaming live, though. It just the recording popped up.
I didn't know how. Okay, so the idea was when Richard and I were working on Skype, he was holding up some stuff, and when we were on Skype, I could see everything he was holding up, and then when Skype records it, it kind of cuts our image in half. So I just kind of thought at the last minute, you know what, I'm going to use the StreamYard, and then we'll have control of the camera, you know. But then once I got to that point, I'm like, how does this record? Does it record somewhere, or do you have to go through YouTube or whatever? So it was all just done last minute, and I didn't really care if anyone watched it or not. It's all about the audio for us. You know?
I know what was going on. You had the Matt Bandy on. You're like, I got to get this live for all of his fans.
Well, I knew Matt Bandy was going to bring tons and tons of eye candy besides himself. You know, he had like games and books and all sorts of things. So, and I needed people to see that. So, but what everybody missed was after we recorded the episode, Richard and Matt Bandy just had this huge discussion about Dungeons and Dragons. I think it was Dungeons and Dragons. Matt Bandy brought out the mat, showed everything, showed his mat. It was exciting. But while they were doing that, I got to like really work the controls for the StreamYard. So now I'm a pro for so for the next one, get ready. There's going to be star wipes and all sorts of crazy things. Good times.
Great. Good
Wonderful
stuff. There's some Fandango behind the scenes for everyone.
That's right.
Then go check that out. Check that out wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. They're now doing it all on YouTube. The YouTube channel, Retro Fandango. Subscribe to them. Right after you subscribe to this channel, hit the subscribe button. So what are we here for? Vinyl, eh? You guys got some stuff?
Got some stuff. Excited? Yeah. Always.
I want to start with Jake the Destroyer today.
Oh,
okay. He can get us in a mood.
Okay, so this one's a bit of not an oddball in terms of what the music is, but just in terms of me owning something like this. This is something I probably will never play, but it's more of a collector's thing. I guess is the way to put it. But I brought up Mastodon once on a time, so I got this.
Oh, nice!
It is a signed copy by the band of their LP Leviathan. This is one of their earlier records. It's back when they were a little heavier, had a little bit more of an edge, a little sludgier. And it's a concept record about Moby Dick, if you couldn't guess that. But the artwork is just insane. And I just love all of it. It's hard to see, I got so much glare here. But it's absolutely gorgeous. Pristine. Obviously having it signed by the band is pretty cool.
Did you order that signed, or did you get that signed after you had the record?
The latter. Yeah, I got it at a show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And the vinyl itself is like a clear / bone / red and blue splatter, which is pretty cool. 180 gram. I've never played this, and like I said, I don't know that I will. It's just one of those things I keep kind of put away. And it's got this gloriously gorgeous info sheet, lyrics on the back. Big fan of the whole package. And it's one of my favorite records of theirs. I mean, the riffs are just killer. It's back when Troy Sanders was kind of like a little bit more of the featured vocalist, because that band has 3 different vocalists, and kind of through their different eras, each one has sort of taken a bit of a more tip of the spear approach to the vocals, and that's when he was kind of on fire. So that one, bit of an outlier. Like I said, I don't have a lot of signed things. I do have another one that I'll bring on next time.
Would you say that album was White Whale for you?
Heyo.
That is like ridiculous that you should say that, because I was just about to make that joke.
Great minds.
Absolutely. So this is probably the only other metal record that I will bring on, but it's these guys. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ne Obliviscaris.
No, I've never heard of that band.
Okay. So this is called Portal of Eye, and this is their first LP. They are an Australian sort of blackened progressive metal band. There's 6 guys in the group, a couple of guitarists, bass, violin, and then an extra singer. This is not a spectacularly impressive vinyl package. It's a double LP. It's not even a gatefold, but like it was kind of a big deal that they even got this press to begin with, because they came from nothing, and now they're kind of a big deal in the progressive like metal scene. Some people hate them, some people love them. I fall on the love them side. They have some weird song titles. The biggest hit off of this one, if you can call this kind of music hits, I guess, is called And Plague Flowers the Kaleidoscope. And it's about, 12, 13 minutes long. It's got like flamenco parts. It's got neoclassical parts, some like chamber music-y stuff going on. But also that sort of like galloping black metal stuff as well. And I've seen these guys live. I actually hung out with them on their tour bus, interviewed one of them. Their tour bus was just basically bottled water and blankets, because they were a poor Australian band touring the US. But they actually, I can't remember which university it is. I think it's the one in Melbourne. There's some university that teach basically a course on these guys and how they put together their songs and their compositions. So if you're interested in something, different, a little far out, kind of, big, check them out.
When was that record released?
That was 2012.
Okay.
They've put out 2 more since and working on a 4th. They're all about as good as that one. That one's just, this is the first taste, so it's kind of like the special place. But really cool band.
Well, as Jay says,
well, they're not high metal genres. They're just things that exist. I could make some up, and they would be not nearly as good as the ones that are actually out there.
I want to know more Jake getting on a tour bus stories. What happened there?
Yeah, I honestly, like I said, nothing. Like I went in there to talk to their guitarist for the website I write for. I talked to several members of the band. We had like a 20-minute conversation about the record, and just shot the breeze. Went in the green room for a minute. It was fun. It was fun. Nothing spectacular. Just this tiny place called what is the name of that place? It's in Greensboro. It's like the Flying Tiger or something like that. The Blind Tiger. Not a great venue, but it was a good show anyway.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure there's blowing in there somewhere. But anyways, can move on.
Yes.
So Matt Bandy, what do you got to beat that? Come on,
I don't know
pretty
if
big.
I have anything to beat that, but I did get a few new records in the mail this week, so
Heck yeah.
just in time for the show. And the first one I'm going to talk about, if I am indeed going next, is a record or a band that I both recommended to you and Kevin a few months ago, prior to this release coming out. They at that time only had a little demo, or it wasn't a demo, it was a little EP with 3 or 4 songs on it. Well, they're a Canadian band, and my record that I pre-ordered when the album came out just came in the mail a couple days ago. So
Wow.
that is a band. I don't know what part of Canada they're from. I think maybe they're from Toronto. I'm not too sure. But that is a band called Freeways. And Freeways is, I would describe them as a heavy rock band, not a hard rock band, but a heavy rock band. And just look at that cover. It's a hand-painted Winnebago in the snow. How cool is that? And I love the logo too.
Some Walter White vibes.
So, what this sounds like is like if Thin Lizzy had a little more new wave or British heavy metal influence. Thin Lizzy and the guitar tone sounds a lot like Thin Lizzy, but yeah, this is great stuff. This record came out I believe it was last month was when it officially came out, but the pre-order took a little bit to get here through the mail. But yeah, if I think you guys will all of you guys would probably like this record. Comes with some liner notes, images from the band here. This is out on Temple of Mystery Records, which that is a Canadian label out of. I don't know if it says on here. I think it might be on the East Coast as well, but it looks like Freeways is from Brampton, Ontario.
Yeah, it's a suburb of Toronto.
Okay. So yeah, if my only complaint about this record is that it's a little bit short, or it feels short. I'm not exactly how many minutes this is, but it's only 8 songs. But really catchy, tasty riffs. But yeah, if there was just a little, maybe 1 or 2 more tracks on there, it would have kind of pushed it over the edge for me. But regardless, this is a great record. And this is a cool label too, out of Canada here. This Temple of Mystery Records, they release a lot of some cool bands. So yeah, I think you guys would dig this, especially Kevin and Bill.
I did give them a spin. I did give them a spin when you recommended them a few months ago, and it was really good. But the album, I think, was from the States to order it, and it wasn't.
Oh no, this is I ordered this directly from Bandcamp, and this comes from Canada.
I just remember it being pricey. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't cheap. It might have been like some special edition though, or something like that.
There was, and unfortunately, I missed out on getting that because it came with a keychain and a patch.
Yeah. Right.
That was like the ultimate edition.
Right.
And it was on colored vinyl too. I think the vinyl looked like a little bit more of the color of the Winnebago there, but.
Could have matched the drapes there for you.
Yeah, it could have. I didn't think it would sell out, but it sold out. And but this is still available. You can order this from their Bandcamp, and you can purchase a digital copy of it too, and directly through Temple of Mystery Records, which is out of Canada, so you don't have to pay those international shipping rates.
It's always painful.
Yeah.
Well, even shipping within Canada is a complete joke.
Oh, really?
Especially vinyl, because it's big and they go by size. It's not just weight here.
That sucks because, like, for me, this record, like, shipped to me was maybe $23 US. And that's pretty much what if I was in a record store, that's pretty much what I would, around that for a new release.
You'd expect to pay that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to get down a rabbit hole, but you guys in the States, your postal service is going through some tough times because there's a lot of restrictions that they have on the rates and that they can charge to send things through the mail. That's part of the reason why they're tanking right now. So, but anyways, yeah, not here in Canada. Everything's expensive. I ordered stuff from the UK sometimes, and it comes here free shipping, and you can't order stuff from Toronto without paying at least $15, $20 from something just down the street.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
True. But Canada Post is going bankrupt too. So
yeah. Well, I mean, they got a lot of territory to cover with so few people to support the thing.
Don't defend them. They're awful.
They're important though. People need their
Very
medicine.
important.
Yeah.
That's
if you
true.
need to buy a broken toy over online and you need it shipped to you, who else are you going to trust to send it to you?
That's true. That's true. Is that all you got for that one, Matt Bandy?
Yeah, I'll start with that one and let you guys have some fun.
Well, I wrote that down. I will check that out this week for sure.
Yeah, I think you guys will like it.
I didn't do any other homework last week, though, on the stuff you mentioned, unfortunately. I'm looking at my notes. I forgot to look at anything.
I don't know if you will have liked anything that I...
I think you'd like the War on Drugs, and I think that's going to be it.
Yeah.
That I still have written down. Yeah. I did come across something, though, which was out of my wheelhouse, but it dived into it. Because have you guys heard of Daniel Roman's outfit, the Plugs?
Mm-mm.
Some kind of punky kind of band. Anyways, they did a cover of a Dylan record. The whole record kind of added a little bit of punk flair to it. Not enough to turn me off, but it was just right. It just had the right groove. They did the Infidels album over again, and I don't know. I thought maybe you guys would have heard of them. The Plugs.
The Plugs. That sounds familiar. And any punk rock band with a the and an inanimate object afterwards. I love it.
That's all we need, I guess. All right, Kevin. I was wondering, I was like, where's Deke today? I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but he has just popped up and is admiring you.
Well, thank you, Deke. I admire him. So feelings mutual. Deke, this is my Greatest American Hero shirt. So thanks for noticing the red shirt. Don't forget to check out the Thunder Bay Arena Rock blog that Deke runs over there. It's good times. Learn a lot of things over there. Got me into Scorpions. I've been listening to Scorpions.
Love that.
I've never listened to them before. All I knew was Rocky Like a Hurricane. And you said, no, check out this double live album from the 80s. I said, okay. And I gave it a spin. It was good. It's good times. Very nice.
All right. Well, I turn the show over to you.
Oh, okay. I thought we were just gabbing. Okay, so I promised Jake that I'd show him my Hemispheres special edition.
Yes.
So here we go. He says this is his favorite Rush album. So this was the 40th anniversary edition. So this is the box that it came in.
Okay.
It goes in there, but I took it out, so save some time.
Right, sure.
40th anniversary, search back and all that.
Preserve the shrink wrap, which is nice.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, have to.
So yeah, it comes with the album, and then there's a live show from 1979, and another, like the last side is like a side of a show from 1978. So the whole thing is six sides, so 3 albums. And here's what the 3 albums come in. So it's kind of a mixed bag here with the cover, because my cover is like kind of faded and stuff, and I kind of got used to it. And this one's like all a little too pristine and nice. It doesn't even feel like Hemispheres. I don't think I've ever seen Hemispheres this nice.
Yeah, never seen with that deep of a blue.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's the back.
Fantastic.
So usually it's really sun faded and there's something going on. But here's the inside. All your neurons.
Like some synapses going on.
Exploding in there.
Love it.
The guy's like looking like super cool in there.
Because they are.
And I can't remember. Is the vinyl? What does the vinyl look like? I can't even get it out of this thing. Hold on a sec. Just taking the vinyl out to save time.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to start doing.
It's just black vinyl. Right? Those are got brains on the inner label thing. Okay, and then the live shows come with this brain hemispheres.
That's cool.
There's all your more brains. Lots of brains happening. And here's the inside.
Wonderful.
Rush. And then, it's just the discs inside. And then it came with a nice big booklet.
Very cool.
There's the back. Lots of brains. And then inside.
Is that artwork, is some of that from the original album too? Or is that just stuff they had made up?
No, this is all added after. Like you see, it says 40th hemispheres on there and that. So, no. It's all just, I guess, artwork that's inspired by the album, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But you got your photos in there. If I can get this open. The photos. And you got, wait for it. You got lots of reading.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's lots
It's
of
dense.
Very dense, so you can read while you listen to your album. But it's all cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
This is kind of Sarah's. It's not really mine, because I got it for her for Christmas.
Okay.
I always feel kind of weird giving her stuff like this for Christmas because it's kind of like, here you go. I'm going to enjoy this. She doesn't mind, Like she's really into Led Zeppelin and she's really into Rush. And I mean, what are you going to do? You just kind of enjoy the same stuff.
Share it.
Something.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was really cool.
Yeah. So those were Black Friday deals too. This set was only $40 Canadian when I picked it up, and I don't even think you can find it anymore. So that was a steal deal. I got that on that Music Vault set or website.
Okay. I keep forgetting about that.
2 Black Fridays ago. Yeah, it was 2018.
Music Vault.
Yeah, check that out. Especially on Black Friday, they got some good Black Friday deals. Sometimes they do a thing in the summer too. So I don't know if they're going to do it with everything going on this year, but yeah, that's it for this round.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I want
that was awesome. Same.
I was kind of stalling because I like to start my little segment here with something special that doesn't necessarily have to do with vinyl or anything like that, but I forgot to do that. So I can't think of anything either. So I will show you what I'm drinking tonight. Nature vodka tonic drink. Zero sugar, very little aftertaste or no aftertaste, very light. It's quite nice. It's quite nice.
Is it like a White Claw?
It is. Well, White Claw has 1 gram of sugar. This has 0. This is, you can totally get away with this.
I hope there was an 80s glam band called White Claw.
Yeah, these are good. You should try it. It's so light. It's what's really nice. No aftertaste. Some of the vodka tonics are, Anyways, do you guys remember what I teased last week?
I can never remember what you teased.
No, I cannot.
I remember talking about
almost
Creed.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, we were talking about Creed. I think Arms Wide Open is what you were gonna.
I think you guys actually asked me if I could get more Neil Diamond records for this week's episode. No, I left off with Crosby, Stills, Nash with the Young. Everyone should have this record of all Crosby, Stills, Nash records. I would say Deja Vu is the one. And I've listened to this quite a bit, so I am kind of scared what the vinyl looks like.
Is that the only one they did with Young back in the day? I know they did American Dream in the 80s, but is there another one? Studio album? I can't think of one.
I don't know. It's not my.
Yeah. We'll have to wait for Deke to answer on that one.
By the way, Deke says that Permanent Waves Deluxe is out tomorrow. Let's see what the price is on that.
So there's a little bit of write-up in there and who the personnel is. And if you see who's playing steel guitar is some Jerry Garcia appears on this record. Let's take a look. There is a sleeve in there. Vinyl looks used, however, very serviceable. Very serviceable.
Not bad.
So
I'll have to listen to it to make a full judgment.
not bad. Carry On, Teach Your Children, Almost Cut My Hair, a song that I've screamed in the shower many times. Helpless and Woodstock by Joni Mitchell. Yeah, that's a good one. You gotta definitely get that one. Deke's furiously researching right now, I think. Also by Crosby, Stills, Nash, live album, Four Way Street. I think my buddy Kevin already showed this one.
I already showed it.
We'll just take a quick look here. Got all the notes in there. And let's see how the vinyl's holding up here. 2 sleeves. You got sleeves on both sides. Yep. See? That's a major collector right there. Paper sleeves. Again, the vinyl has got use, but it's serviceable.
Time to upgrade.
You know, some people just buy mint albums and then don't do anything with it, but show it off on a YouTube show. But I play these things. Or I have back in the day. Yeah, this one's in really good shape. So that's good. Four Way Street. They were sounding good back then together. And before Neil, we got some So Far, cover by Joni. So they all took turns with back in the day.
That's Grace Hits, right? I think I have that one too.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Yeah. With
that track listing.
Yeah, Helpless. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Which is weird for them to have a Grace Hits when they only had one album.
Greatest hits don't come with sleeve covers inside.
Yeah.
Sleeves. That's still okay. Not too shabby. I'm just going to keep going.
Keep going.
We're not stopping you.
We got to get through this next one quick because people might be upset. We're in the C's, and we have another comedian coming out.
Oh, Cosby.
Oh, no. Someone alert the authorities. You're in trouble.
That's the best of Bill Cosby. Like, I'm sorry, but he was great back in the day, and these records are funny, guys.
Does that one have the dentist on it? That was one of his best.
That was on himself, wasn't it? I don't know if when that joke started, but I remember it was
sure. Yeah, I remember
Another best of. It's got Noah on there. That was a funny one. Fat Albert.
Yeah, that's super old. It's way back.
It's like in the I Spy days.
Just take a quick look here. See what's inside. See if anything's hiding. This is an interesting way of doing it. You have a sleeve, but the record is outside of the sleeve.
Beside it. Yeah. Half of the record needs to be preserved. The other half,
half of every song is just trash.
And everyone's seen that one for sure. Very funny fellow. A Nut in the Car, Toss of the Coin. Noah, again. Noah and the Neighbor. Noah, Me and You, Lord. Oh, I remember that. Those Lord. As the Lord is trying to tell him what to do. No Slip. Sleeve. Some. And finally, I started out as a child. Bill Cosby. Hey, I like Bill Cosby. He could tell a story. What am I supposed to throw them all out now?
Yeah. Yeah, you are. I think you're obligated to now.
Well, I haven't listened to them in a very long time. Maybe it could do it. No sleeve. It's in stereo. So there you go. That's it for my C's. Ending with a high note there. That was me. Whew. Yeah. So I know Jake's got to go soon, so I want to get as much Jake in as possible.
Soon-ish, but yeah. So last time I said that I was done with metal, I lied. I did get one this week that I thought would be fun to share. And this is Mantis. Death by Metal. Now, this one is cool because I think I brought up last time. I think my favorite metal band is just Death. And this is Chuck Schuldiner from Death, his first band. And this exists physically in two forms, this vinyl pressing and the actual demo cassettes from 1984. So this is basically just a bunch of demo songs that were recorded on cassette in Orlando in 1983 and 1984 that were transferred by his estate to Relapse, the label, to distribute. So it's just a bunch of like songs that like Evil Dead, Legion of Doom, like some of these became songs for Death, but some of them didn't. But this is like really raw. Like some of these are just rehearsals. They're not even like on production equipment. They're just like a tape recorder setting in a basement while these guys jam. And it's just a really cool, interesting little piece of history if you're, into the band Death or Chuck Schuldiner, or like the early days of death metal, because this had a lot of energy. Very thrashy, very punky. It's got some like memoirs by some of the guys that were in the band. So like there was so there is like the original tape cover that they drew.
That's so cool.
To promote. Then there's another one there that got reproduced for this pressing. It's just a simple black vinyl, but it's kind of fitting. That it's not too flashy.
That was from 84?
Yeah.
Those recordings?
Yep, 84. So this is, a couple of years before Scream Bloody Gore came out. So yeah, being a fan of the band, when I saw that, I was like, well, I gotta jump on that. And there's a bunch of tracks on here. Like 14 tracks. Plus I got the digital versions of those that I can download as well. Just a lot of fun. Again, more of a thing to be interested in if you already have context with who they were.
And that was on a cassette tape.
It was on a cassette, yeah, because that's obviously how a lot of bands, especially like that early underground-ish metal scene, they would record a demo tape, send it into a magazine, trade it with friends, or just try to get press any way they could. So they would throw 3 or 4 songs in a cassette demo and put an ad in a magazine and say, send money to this PO box and we'll send you a demo.
Oh, yeah. I remember those little mixers you could get that would record right into a cassette.
Yep. And this sounds way worse than that. But, again, it's not about, the quality. It's about just sort of the energy that was around at the time. So I'll jump back into something much different. And this might be something that you aficionados know a bit about.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Miles Davis, Bitches Bird. I don't know if this is an original, because I think that came out in 70, and I think this does have like a 70 or a 71 date on it. But obviously a bit of a magnum opus, double album. Got lots of, words again. But they're in pretty good shape. I actually, a friend of mine, like her dad was cleaning out his attic. She's like, you can go through his records and just take whatever you want, because he was just going to donate them. So I was like, okay. And it's got, some Columbia propaganda on the sleeve, little newspaper called The Inner Sleeve. So just, basically advertising. But the vinyl itself, it smells so good. Oh, it smells so good. It's in decent shape. It hasn't been played a ton.
Yeah.
It will, I've spun it a couple of times. There's actually I don't remember the brewery, but there's a a brewery that makes a Bitches Brew beer. So bought a pack of those and put this on, and became a cliche for the evening. But it was, you can't not love Miles Davis if you have a passing interest in jazz at all. Bit of a mad genius, and this is just, he's epic. So, and plus that art is just, something else.
You had to smoke cigarettes too while you listen to it, right?
You have to, and just kind of casually hold it with one hand, like you don't even care about it. Should I do another one, or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll throw one more on this, and I'll have one more left. Anyone familiar with Leon Bridges?
Yeah, I love that guy. Is that his new record?
It is his most recent record of his own. He did basically like a little collaboration EP with Krungbin. I don't know if you know who they are.
Yeah, Sarah loves Krungbin.
Krungbin's awesome. But yeah, he did a collaboration with them. It's like 4 or 5 songs. But this is his last solo thing.
Yeah, I haven't heard that record yet, but his first record I listened to a bunch. This
came out 2 years ago, I think.
Really?
Yeah. It's called Good Thing.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah. I think I spun it so much in 2018. I think there's only like one song on here that I don't care for. The rest are just gold. But, lyrics on one side, gotta love that. And a little thank you note and a portrait here. But I got it from Barnes & Noble, and it's this bright yellow 180 gram, which I'm pretty tickled with. Sounds great. But yeah, this guy's just got, I don't know, he's just got a hold on that old soul Sam Cooke vibe that I just, I'll forever love. And great songwriter, smooth voice.
Yeah, smooth is a good way to.
Yeah, just great.
Description, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely check this out and check out the collab with Krungbin, because it's got this nice soulful South Texas soul thing going on. I mean, obviously Krungbin's got influences from all over the place, and they just kind of when I heard they were doing something together, I was giddy. It's fantastic. So, but yeah, that's it for this round. I've got one left for next time.
Yeah, I don't know who Crumbum is.
You would love.
I'll the next episode, I'll grab Sarah's Crumbum records and you guys can check them out.
Yeah,
all right,
good stuff.
Hey, big hello to Duke in the chat. Duke Star,
superstar
over at Retro Nonsense.
Yeah, fancy Star Wars cab in the house.
Oof. Yeah, he's probably playing that while he's watching this.
Oh yeah, I would be
breaking high
score. Playing that and listen to us. Actually, I would probably just play that.
Wow, we got dropped pretty quick there. It was fast.
All right, so what's next for Matt Bandy?
Okay, I'll go show my 2 other records that came in the mail this week.
More brand new records.
New records, yeah. Both of these records came out last year. First one I got was a band from Portland, Oregon, called Idle Hands, and
yes,
these guys came out. Are you familiar with this band, Jake?
I am.
Yeah, this was definitely one of my favorites that came out last year in 2019. They kind of came out of nowhere with an EP. I believe that was called "Don't Waste Your Time." It was like maybe a 4 or 5 song EP that was great, and this album just kind of expands on that. Yeah. Idle Hands is kind of a hard band to describe. They have some 80s gothic influences, bands like The Cure, Sisters of Mercy, The Cult, that type of gothic feel to it, but mixed with some like traditional heavy metal, post-hardcore, post-punk stuff. And it is just so good, so catchy, so fun to just sing along to this record. It's not like a super heavy record, but it has like those kind of traditional heavy riffs. And this band, this record especially was really well reviewed and well received last year. But I finally got this record. I kind of balked on it for a while, not that I didn't want it, but it was ordering the record. It went out of print pretty quick. The first pressing of this is the second pressing on like a clear blue vinyl. but the price of it was pretty expensive for some reason. I don't know why, but I was able to order this 2 weeks ago directly from the band, and it was the shipping or the price of it had come down quite a bit, and comes with a nice big poster
Okay.
with photos from Pete Best. If you were familiar with Pete Best, he's a photographer who has shot a lot of bands, a lot of heavy metal type stuff.
Not the fifth Beatle?
Not the fifth Beatle, no. It comes with liner notes with the lyrics here, and some other photos by Pete Best. So yeah, this record is great. One of my favorites from last year.
Yeah, I think I caught on to them with that EP as well, and then just kind of forgot about them. And then when that LP came out, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, there's two songs, I believe, from the EP that are re-recorded for this record. And usually I don't like when that happens, but the re-recordings on this record are just different enough to where it's cool, because it's, you know, it the production quality on this compared to the EP, the songs sound just a lot more full, which is not always a good thing, but it just matches really well with the other songs. And I am gonna kind of shit on the USPS here for just a minute. So whenever you order a record through the USPS, anything that comes media mail, it's what I'm bitching about is because I don't know if you can see, but the corner of this came crushed. Anything that you order media mail, and I've even ordered off of record labels to where they'll have warnings. Hey, if you order this media mail, you know, there's a possibility this could come damaged, or it's a higher probability that it will become damaged. I don't know if anything that's media mail, they just don't care, and they're like kind of rough with it. But this record, this was shipped from Oregon. It came from Portland to Los Angeles, which I am 2 hours north of Los Angeles. It went from Portland to Los Angeles to Texas back to me, which is so weird. It makes no sense to me. So just a pro tip, if you ever order anything media mail, just be wary there. It's cheaper or less expensive, and usually takes longer to get here as well. I've noticed. So just media mail, just order with caution.
Don't they inspect it? That's why it can be damaged if it's medium.
I have no idea, but it's possible.
I've heard that, I think, on the Dollar Dorks podcast, that if you go media mail, they inspect it to make sure it's media and then have a decision.
Yeah, because there's only certain things that can be sent me, because media mail is significantly cheaper. I think the shipping on that is less than, it was like $3.50 or $5 for media mail.
Yeah, it's usually $5 for me. It's like a flat $5.
Yeah, but there's only certain things that will qualify for media mail. Yeah. And
Dan, I was just going to ask, have you heard Four-Stroke Baron? Have we talked about that?
Four-Stroke Baron?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, if you like Idle Hands, you might dig their vibe. It almost sounds like Roland from Tears for Fears singing over Mastodon. It's like very new wave, but also like very progressive metal at the same time. But the vocals are, very much reminiscent of like that.
Yeah, that's one thing I should say about Idle Hands too. The vocalist too. He's got great pipes and just a cool. It's your unique sound. It's all clean vocals, all sung vocals. It's no harsh vocals at all, and it's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of harsh vocals, this is some very harsh vocals. This is a Finnish black metal band by the name of, I think it's pronounced Arnaut Pavle. That's just a guess. I don't know. I've never heard this band pronounced before. But But yeah, they're a Finnish black metal band. This came out in 2019, so this came out last year too. I believe I ordered this through either Season of Mist or what's the other label? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got it through one of their distros. But what's cool about this band is it's very raw black metal, but it has a more of a the drums on the recording have a more of a punk rock kind of D beat crust punk feel to it. And when you mix that with black metal, I love it because it's sometimes especially raw black metal can get very grating and kind of samey. And this when bands like this interject some other influences into it, yeah, I dig it. So yeah, this is I believe just on black vinyl. I was finally happy to. Yeah, no lyric sheet, but yeah,
Okay.
good stuff. Jake, I think you'd like this, man.
Yeah, which I've never heard them. I mean, obviously that's not hard to do with music or black metal or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know.
And with bands that you can't pronounce their names of.
Right. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of that.
Jake, if you're running away, should we come back to you to finish off your album, or?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, so I got to bounce in a couple of minutes, so but I didn't want to just blow you guys off completely because I do enjoy this. So the last one is I hope I haven't brought this on before. God, my memory is just absolute nightmare lately. But I'm a big fan of this man. Does anyone like Jason Isbell?
Jason Isbell.
Don't know him.
Do you guys know Drive By Truckers?
Yes.
Okay, he used to be in Drive By Truckers, and he was kind of like chief songwriter. So this is like what some people call alternative country. Some people call it Americana. Some people just call it folk. To me, it's definitely more like just singer-songwritery, but with some obvious country influences. But what he does is just incredible. His songwriting just blows my mind continuously. This is not his most recent record. I haven't picked that up yet. It just dropped like last weekend. But what's so special about him is just how he writes a song. Some nice photos on the gatefold, nothing too spectacular here. Nice recording space photo on the back. Vinyl does come in a glossy sleeve, band photo, and then a little bit of a advertisement here. He does stuff solo, and then he does stuff with 400 Unit, which is his band. I came online with him on his solo record, Southeastern. He wrote a song called Elephant, which is probably the most tough song I've ever listened to, just lyrically. It's just gut-wrenching. It's about staring death in the face and falling in love with someone who is terminally ill. It's just gut-wrenching, soul-crushing stuff, and I love it. But this record, why I love it is it's kind of like a return to like a more of a country sound, but without falling into those traps of terrible country, crap that's going on with it today. It's more just about, feeling out of place, down on your luck, just actual real relatable themes and not something about having sex in the back of a truck in a cornfield while Kanye plays. It's just actual real stuff. The song that really grips me on this, well, there's a couple, but the biggest one is just called Vampires. And it's just about how he's talking to his significant other. And, if we were vampires, I wouldn't love you as much because we wouldn't have a finite amount of time together. But it's good stuff. And I've listened to this record for countless hours, and his new one is really growing on me as well. So,
what record label put that out?
I wrote it down.
Good. It's good stuff. You can't go wrong with hardly anything he does. This is on 30 Tigers. It was also done by their own label too. I think he has his own Southeastern. Pretty much anything he's done is good. He's gotten better. Like once he hit Southeastern, and then Something More Than Free, and then Nashville Sound, and his new one. It's just gold songwriting, just incredible stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, his wife is Amanda Shires. She's in the Highwomen. I don't know if anyone knows who that is. They're kind of like this new country all-female group that's making waves. So she's in the band and plays with him too. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for bringing that.
Yeah, and maybe next time I'll bring his new record, because that one's going to be ordered very soon. It finally clicked with me, so I'm like, yeah, we're going to.
Nice. Well, thanks for stopping by again this week.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure as usual.
Yeah, I hate to dine and dash, but didn't want to again blow you guys off completely. So
no worries.
See you
You
next
brought
time.
the gems.
Yeah, see you next time, everybody.
See you. Say bye to Jake.
Peace
Sorry,
out.
Jake.
Bye, Jake.
Later.
And I kicked him out just like that.
Yeah, he didn't even get a plug in.
No. That's
we
Jake
really
from
get a plug?
Polykill Podcast.
Oh, there it is.
You got to check out Polykill, and they have a whole vast array of content out there. You can't even name it all.
So network.
Polykill is merely a brand that encompasses so much wealth. It's not even funny. So
Yeah, I'm
check-
looking forward to his solo podcast.
Yeah, oof, they got a lot of stuff out there. A lot of stuff. So I'm just going to reiterate, now that we lost someone, that if anyone in the chat wanted to pop in and say hello, the link is in the chat. You just click on that and away you go. You're in the show. You can say hi. You just come in for a minute and we'll kick you out. No big deal. Speaking of which, do you know that we have a caller already?
Oh
ready
my
to go?
goodness.
Can you believe that? I
You're
just
gonna
put the link out.
You're gonna make me follow Chris Roberts again every week.
I don't know who the caller is.
No, I
Same
think
thing.
it might be your co-host, Bill, doesn't he? He's got a nice little record collection there.
He does. I don't. It's some kind of passive protest he's doing that he won't tune into this or participate. So I'm not sure. But anyways, let's bring the caller on. Caller, tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Calling Chris Roberts from Carruthers, California. Place you've never heard of or ever would want to go.
Hey, buddy.
Swap Town City.
No, well, sort of. I mean, it's swap meet people for sure. A lot of youth people around here.
Welcome to the show.
Anyway, so at the end of the at the end of my spot on the podcast last week, I heard Kevin shaming me for my low quality of visuals in my movies. So I got rid of all the VHS. I'm all Blu-ray now.
Oh, very good.
Ooh.
Nice.
All Blu-ray.
Wow.
I'm convinced,
I'm
man.
glad I have that influence on you.
Yep.
What's that to the right of your head?
No.
Oh,
Look.
oh.
You're not supposed to see that. Forget that. Anyway, so what's going on, guys? I've been listening and doing well. See, you kicked that one hack off already. Got tired of all the obscure death metal.
I like the artwork you pumped out today on your Instagrams and whatnot. The VHS.
Oh, thank you.
Top
Yeah,
quality underboob.
yeah, it's a classic. I haven't actually watched it yet, but I'm assuming there's probably a lot of boobs in it. It's called Slash Dance, which is probably
Yeah.
spoofish on Flashdance, or somebody really wanted the name because they just thought it was so clever. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's got a little blemish right there, but this is a very rare tape. A collector was selling his stuff sort of locally. Actually, it wasn't that local, but local enough where I can drive to it. And it's so rare he couldn't even find a price for it because there's no listings or completed listings. So it was like, how about like $30? I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And it's probably about a $200 tape.
Yeah. Chris Roberts cornering the market on rare VHS tapes. It's what he's moved into now.
Well, I've always had it. It's just been off to the side, But whenever you get, I had a really large score last year, and it kind of like revitalized my interest in it. So I posted a little more. And plus, after a while, it really does get boring to see that people post the same stuff. So, you know, it's nice being in something different like vinyl or VHS or action figures or just something different. You know what I mean? Like, how many times can you see the same copy of Earthbound or whatever? It just gets old. You know what I mean? Like, and as much as I like want to get into their enthusiasm, because that was me when I got it, but it's just like, man, dude, you know, branch out. So old electronics, CRTs, you know.
How about someone who's brave enough to put up cute little bird pictures and stuff that no one likes. No one likes that. I want to see Mario Bros again.
Yeah,
I know. I appreciate that.
I think it's cool, man. You know,
I get Donovan Viper and Chris Roberts.
Yeah, your nature side. That's pretty cool. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so so speaking of the yard sales and swap meets, there's a little game I like to play because, you know, where I'm at, it's a large Hispanic population, and when you're at the swap meet, a lot of times you're hearing Spanish music in the background, and sometimes you'll start to notice, you'll hear something and it sounds really familiar, and you can't quite place it because it's in a different language. So it's kind of it's basically the game I play called Name That Cover. And one day I was in the swap meet and I'm listening to this song and I'm like, why do I know that song? I'm listening and it turned out it was Love Hurts. So here's now.
Oh, nice. That is such a good record, Chris.
It really, and it's a badass cover. I mean,
yeah.
I'm going backwards here. Let me try to figure out all right, there you go. It's just a really badass cover. Not quite sure what's going on in the back. I mean, I guess this is kind of like some water or marsh and some rocks coming out, but I mean, it's just really cool. And I was lucky enough to find this at the swap meet, you know, for like 50 cents or $1. And you know, it's a plain, you know, it's nothing fancy. I mean, this might not be the original sleeve, but the record itself is in really good condition. And I was very happy to find that. And it's just one of those songs that even when I was in high school, they would still play it on like a modern rock station. So I always thought that was kind of cool.
What's funny about that record, like that band is known for that song, and that song is like a total ballad, right? But the rest of the album is heavy. It's really good.
Yeah, the rest of this album has, you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And I guess it was, I don't know. I mean, considering the year of it, they might have been a little ahead of the curve with that rock albums putting out a ballot so they can get a, you know, like a charting hit or whatever. That seemed to be really popular with the hair bands in the 80s. They would all, you know, they always had to have their power ballad. Yeah, am I saying that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ballad. Yeah. And speaking of power ballads, it's another, you know, pretty much, okay, I'll just put it this way. Everything I show is either from a swap meet or a yard sale, unless I say otherwise. But I only got this because it was in that free lot I kind of talked about last week. And I couldn't leave this behind. Well, I couldn't because they wouldn't let me. I had to take everything. But I was happy I took it. And it's, you know, Night Ranger. You got, I mean, look at this. Who approved this album cover? Like, what is this guy doing?
Is he dressed as a surgeon? What is that?
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't, and look at that little, like, he's got the little stupid hat that's all puffy with the regular bill on the back. Look at this guy. You know, like, does any of these guys match? Like, I don't even know. This guy's got the sleeveless shirt. This guy's got the rolled up, but he's sleeveless too. So these guys kind of match. This, I don't even, is that a designer scrub? Like, I don't know what's going on here. You got a guy back here with a sword, a hooker or a prostitute, lady of the night, a cheerleader. I don't know what the cheerleader's doing there on this side of town. And what looks like a guy who's like mountain climbing the building. Like, I have no idea what's going on with this album cover, but it's pretty cool. And on the back, it even has, it's just more hijinks. And you got a cactus right here in the middle of, I don't know, like downtown New York. The only song on here I know is Sister Christian. And
okay, I was trying to think what they're saying.
Yeah, it's not a great song, but I mean, it's one of those songs where.
Is that the Motorin'? Is that song?
Yeah, they put the well, yeah, it's Get to Motorin'. I actually looked up the lyric, and I guess basically what they're saying is like, get on down the road, it was something he had heard. I actually heard a little bit about this on something, I don't know, some sort of interview, or maybe it was a Reddit thread. But apparently, get to motoring means like basically go, like you got to get going, or you can't sit still type of thing. And we never knew if he was saying put the motor in or what. Like if he had problems with his car, like I had no idea what was going on. But it's one of those songs that kind of take you back. You know what I mean? Like if you heard it when it was new. It was just some weird ass song that would come on in between, you know, Metallica and Motley Crue songs. And you're just like, I guess, I mean, somehow it was crammed into the same genre on our local rock station. But I don't know, man. I guess it's better to be a one-hit wonder than to never have a hit at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll ask you guys a question. Now, let's see if anybody knows. Do any of you know the 5 points to the 5-point plan?
5-point plan.
Who's
Nope.
5-point plan?
Okay. Well, it's about scoring with a chick, right? You got a 5-point plan. Okay. First point, you never let the girl know how much you like her. All right. You play it cool, right? That's the first one. Second one, you know, you always call the shots, you know, like come over here or give me a call, you know, that kind of thing. You always keep the third one, act like wherever you go, it's the place to be. Right? The fourth one, you know, if you're out to eat, find out what she wants to eat and then order for her. You know, the lady will have this and then the gentleman will have that, right?
The knockers.
Okay? And the fifth point is, you know, when you're ready to make out in the car, you got to put on side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4. Okay. And if you don't know any of that shit's from, if you've seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High, it was a little speech the guy, the little pimp dude, or the guy who was the ladies' man gave to the dork. But this is a really cool ass album. Like folds out. I don't even know if I can get it all in the damn picture here, but I mean, some dude with a little lantern, and here we go. Standing on the rock. I mean, Led Zeppelin was so badass. Like, they didn't even name it. I mean, it's called Led Zeppelin 4, but there's nothing even on here that says anything about what it's called. And
It's
even
just what everyone calls it. Some people call it Zoso.
Zoso are the symbols.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah.
I mean, their first.
It's because there's. Yeah, it does say that what you just said, Zozo.
Yeah.
Zoso.
Yeah.
And
it's only because the previous albums were 2 and 3, and so everyone just called it 4.
Right. And that's kind of what I figured. But either way, man, and this is like original, very clean. This actually, I got some people I knew. They decided that they were gonna, I don't know, quit life, I guess, and go off the grid and give all their possessions away. And I had found out about it after they gave away a lot of the good stuff. But they left their house abandoned and said, just come take whatever you want. So I'm like, okay. So went over there and I was finding all kinds of stuff like video games and DSs and movies and like tons of stuff, right? I mean, I had the back of my truck filled up. I was giving it away. I made grip of cash off it. It was awesome. But one of them was this super clean album. And what was so weird about this album is like, you would think, okay, there was several albums. There was at least 20 albums, right? Maybe more. You think, oh, first one you pull off, Led Zeppelin 4, perfect shape. You think, fucking A, right? No, it's all Pointer Sisters and just like it's shit that's still in the garage. Like I don't even know what to do with it. I guess one day maybe I'll just drop it off at Goodwill or something because I don't even want to have it in my house. Like it's just like I would never listen to it. It's just garbage. I can't. It's not even like Jump, like the one hit song they had in the 80s that I might know from the charts, you know, and it's just garbage stuff. I don't know, Luther Vandross, and
Hey,
it's not my style, man. Yeah, it's like some deep cut of him, dude. Believe me, if you want it, you can have it. I'll mail it to you medium mail.
I just
probably
got
come smashed.
I got to defend
Right.
the Pointer Sisters. Neutron Dance is another. That's another good.
You know
song.
what? You're right, but I think that was on the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack. So
It was, yeah.
It wasn't on an independent album. So as far as that goes, but and here's another one. Like it seemed like 70s, 80s was all the rage of releasing a live album. And honestly, I don't think I've ever even heard the main song on this that wasn't the live version. And it's like the ultimate pining song, right? I can, you imagine some dude, pining away for some girl or vice versa. And it's this Cheap Trick.
Oh, nice.
At something. Here we go. At
Budokan.
Budokan. There you go. And it opens up and shows a little bit of their concert. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. It's really good shape. It actually, I take it back. This was actually in that same lot as the Led Zeppelin. So there was one other thing, and it has two. It has this. It has the plain sleeve, but it also has a little.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like a little magazine or something in here. It's pretty cool. And I guess if you wanted to read their stuff in Chinese or what have you. Doesn't have anything in English. Okay, a little bit in English. This little tiny bit, right? Look at this. There's little tiny parts in English over here. And then the rest of this is all like Chinese back here. Or I'm assuming it's Chinese.
Japanese. Budokan's in Japan.
There you go. Hey, listen.
I don't think mine has that pullout in it.
I don't think mine has that either. Can't remember if I seen that. I'm gonna have to check now.
You guys are hunting in the wrong areas. All right, and then I'll tell you another cool little story. So, back in high school, we were young, experimenting stuff. So, we'd smoke a lot of pot, and eventually, we gateway drugged it over to some LSD. We were doing a little LSD, and we had done it several times. But this one particular time, we were listening to this album, and it actually wasn't an album; it was a cassette.
There you go.
It wasn't this cassette. This one was mine. But we were at my buddy Thomas's house, and we were all sitting around a fire. And if you've never done LSD, sitting around a fire is pretty intense. And we were listening to Black Sabbath, and then all of a sudden, it started like speaking like backwards. Like if you were spinning the records backwards or whatever, you can hear them. It was like that old thing where. Back in the day, I don't even know how you do it, but apparently, you could spin your record player backwards, or maybe some of them had a reverse mode, and then you would hear encoded messages, right? So we started hearing this, and we're like, I mean, it was kind of jarring because, like, I don't know, we're tripping. And my friend Thomas jumps through the fire, and I'm on the other side, so he's jumping at me. He scared the shit out of me. But because the tape player was next to me, I didn't think about it. But his tape was being eaten, or we thought it was. And, so he jumped through the fire to save his tape, hit eject, pulling it out, thinking it was, anybody who had cassettes, they know that panic whenever you start to hear your tape getting eaten. And, when you pull it out, there's just going to be tape everywhere. He pulls out, there was nothing wrong with it. So we had no idea what was going on. It's like only on acid, man. It was a trip. And a lot of you real familiar with LSD there, Kevin? I could tell you've done a lot.
No, but I am familiar with tapes being eaten, and to me, yeah, they always sound like they're being eaten when they're not being eaten. That is the quality you get with cassette tapes.
Okay, well, hey.
So I don't need LSD to hear that.
That's good. Chris, are you still going to hang out with us a little bit longer, or should we kick you out?
Let me give you two more things before, and then I'll sit here and listen to you guys. Why
not? Keep going.
Okay. I'll do my last album, all right? And so I was listening to Bandy talk earlier, and this album came to mind. It also sounds like Thin Lizzy. It's got a lot of tasty riffs to it. It's a concept album. It's by the Chicago Bears, the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Yeah, it was a big time thing.
Does it have two songs on it, or is it both songs on the same side, or the same song on both sides?
One's instrumental. One song, and then on the B side, it's just the instrumental of it.
Oh, so you can sing over the top of it.
Karaoke, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, just think about the world we were in, where Like, and these guys put this out before they went to the Super Bowl. So I mean,
Yeah, they did.
it wasn't like afterwards after they knew they won. They would have really looked real stupid, apparently. And then the last but not least, let's just throw in a CD just for Bandy. This was a big favorite of mine. Even though prior to that, I really wasn't much of a fan of them. It's just because I just wasn't that familiar. But you got Slipknot, Iowa. Got to have that. It's probably had their biggest commercial hit, Wait and Bleed. So, that's what you want to put on when you're with your lady at night.
There you go.
Set the mood. There you go. You've listened to that, right, Kevin? You've listened to Slipknot.
I'm not a Slipknot guy. No,
No?
Can't say I am. I've tried.
You didn't cosplay or like no?
No.
All right.
No.
Thought you were cool, man.
Oh, coolness. No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Oh,
Cool.
all right.
I'm the opposite of that.
Kevin is the only one of us that.
I'm not going out to the thrift stores trying to find a bandana for myself. I'm staying safe and staying at home.
Where's your Wonder Woman band that was in the thumbnail?
Was superimposed. I don't have any Wonder Woman band. Sorry.
It came to me this week that, my God, I have another bandana. And it came in one of the Third Man record packages I got earlier this year. It was a bandana, the Raconteurs. So I'm like, I should grab that and put that. And then like the collector in me is like, I can't mess with that collection. Can I? I can't take it out of the plastic and mess with it.
Nope.
So I'm still with this one. But yeah, you might have one hanging out in a record somewhere, Kev.
I don't think so.
Around.
I don't.
Well, regardless of no bandana, are you ready to follow up Chris Roberts?
If I must, I will. Okay. Well, Matt Bandy called me out last week, correctly so, saying that I did not show enough, or I haven't showed enough AC/DC yet. So I have them all here. I have all my entire collection, except for the ones I showed earlier, those bootleg ones. So we'll go through and see how far we get.
Nice.
So we're starting right at the beginning. What's AC/DC's first album, Bill?
Well, some people would say Jailbreak, but that came out after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be next?
Okay, yeah.
Hold on.
Matt Bandy already showed it, sort of.
Oh, I wasn't looking. What'd you show, Matt Bandy?
I was trying to help you out, Bill.
I pass. I don't have a memory for these things. You know that.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Matt Bandy. I'm sorry to call you out. This is this right here called High Voltage. This album is what a lot of casual fans would assume is AC/DC's first album. This is their first album that hit North America and Europe. As you can see, it has the cover with Angus on there. I lose my monitor once again. It has a cover with Angus with the guitar coming out of his pants. And then the letters from the school and disgruntled parents and all that about how bad this band is and all that. It's good reading on there. But it has a lot of their early hits on it. Gangbusters right off the bat. You got TNT on here. It's a Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll. The Jack. All sorts of good stuff in there. But that album, to us real AC/DC fans who know that album is actually a compilation album. Their first two albums were released.
I think I've heard that.
Well, now you're going to know it because
I know, and I don't think I've seen what the actual first release is. So I'm curious.
Get ready,
I'm
because
ready.
I happen to have their first two Australian albums right here. Okay, so their first album is High Voltage. This is the Australian version of High Voltage. This is like, they were early formed, like they weren't really a band yet. Bon Scott is the singer. He was like brand spanking new. They didn't even have a drummer. Their producer / brother, Harry Vonda from the Easy Beats did the drumming on a lot of the tracks, and they had a studio musician do some drumming on some other tracks. But yeah, they were just brand new. This isn't really the best album. They were still trying to figure things out. And that
Is the other young brother in there?
yeah, so Angus and Malcolm are both on this one. They're like that's where the band started, and you got Bon as a singer. And this has the Please Don't Go, the big Bill Brucey cover. She's Got Balls, Little Lover, Stick Around, Soul Stripper, You Ain't Got a Hold on Me, Love Song, which is not good, and Show Business. So it's not too bad. It's pretty good album, but they're just feeling things out. But these are reprints, reissues. And I know this because of the fancy schmancy vinyl that is
Nice.
gold, clear gold. But there was no other way I was gonna to get original copies from Australia's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I think they're out of print now in Australia. Like you can't, even in Australia, you have to buy the compilation one. But there are some companies out there that do. Like this one is I think it's it says EMI Australia, manufactured and distributed by EMI Australia, but I think this is a fan club dealio because they got their stuff all over.
Are those the same recordings that made it on to High Voltage, or is it
Pretty much everything that's on High Voltage is the same. There is just a little between two songs, between the song High Voltage. So this is TNT is the one that has the more of the hits on them, and on this one there is High Voltage, and it kind of bleeds into School Days a little bit, whereas there's like only High Voltage made it onto the North American release, so it fades out, whereas these two songs kind of bleed together. But even on this release, that's on the original one. Even on this release, it still fades out. So wherever they're getting their songs from for it, it's like not the actual recordings. So you're basically paying for just like the artwork and a different arrangement or different order of the songs. But this one had more of the hits, like pretty much that compilation. So this High Voltage, I think there's 10 songs on here, and 8 of them are from TNT, and only 2 from Australian High Voltage made it onto here.
I was thinking the other young brother, what was his name? George? Wasn't he on there? Super early stuff?
That's right. It was George, Harry Vonda, and George Young. So sorry, I got it wrong. It wasn't Harry Young. It was George Young. Harry Vonda was his friend. They pretty much produced most of their albums for them.
I fact checked you on Wikipedia, and you were right.
Okay.
Now, apparently, that first album you showed is considered their first international album, the one that people think is the first album.
Right? Yeah. Like I said, in
I
Europe,
think you said that. I was just
Europe and here. I mean,
yeah.
Sure, if you want to say it came out in Asia and all that too, but really,
I don't know. That's what it said on Wikipedia, and they're never wrong. So.
Don't tell Mike Ladano that, my friend Mike Ladano. He argues with them all the time. I
know, it's so stupid. Never mind. Go ahead. Don't let me interrupt you.
Well, yeah. Okay.
More.
Anyways, so then next up is High Voltage. Sorry, Let There Be Rock. This is
love it.
Their fourth album, but it's only second album here in North America. This was the second album to come out, but it's really their fourth album. We'll get into the reasons why a little later.
Hey, hold on, look.
Oh, very nice on cassette, though.
I mean, yeah.
You should erase that.
Nice try, Bill. Come
on. This is the first time you got this logo on there.
Yeah.
And I just love this cover. This is like my favorite cover of all.
They got some great covers, man. That's really good.
It's like count the cigarette butts on the stage.
I took the VHS cover of that and made a T-shirt out of it. I loved it so much.
Yeah, it's really.
You mean like a really homemade nice T-shirt?
Okay.
Well, you take it somewhere and get it printed.
Oh, I see.
That was before you could do it online.
This is old school. This is like a Bill record. This is old school. This is not new. Black vinyl in there, but look, that's really nice. Eh?
Nice.
Yeah, it doesn't look run over.
I take care of my vinyl. Like some
so
people
the record snobs, they look down on black vinyl? Is that the thing?
No,
No,
I
it's
think
just-
colored vinyl is more of a newer thing.
It's been around for quite a while, but it's like just I don't know, kind of like the new novelty kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of times,
Actually,
like
I got some
will-
Beatles albums that are blue, and they're
yeah.
all
A lot of times I will buy an album. I don't even know it's a color. I'll open it up and I'm like, oh, this is like that Allman Brothers one I showed 2 episodes ago or whatever. I didn't even know it was colored vinyl until I opened it up. I'm like, wow, that's
pretty cool.
nice. One more here. We got this is a reissue, Power Age. I was looking for this album for forever. This is technically their 5th album. You got the boys on the back. And yeah, of course. So one nice thing about these reissues is that they really did up the sleeve with some reading and photos and that, which was not in the original album.
Oh, what year is that reissue from?
2003. They went and reissued all their albums.
So it's starting to get old already too. That's
Yeah,
kinda cool.
yeah.
And what's that album called?
Power Age, however you want to say it.
I always called
Power
it
Age.
but you called it Power Age. I went, oh, I never heard about that.
You always called it what?
Power Age.
Power Age.
Really?
Yeah, that's really. I
Oh,
always
that's
like I
horrible.
don't know, the Rage, like Power Rage.
No,
Power
yeah,
Rage.
that's exactly what they were going for. It's Power Rage.
Power Age.
I'm okay.
You
with
use the R twice. Power Rage.
I'm okay with either. It's all good to me.
Yeah, they're being clever.
Do you want me to go on, or is that good for this block, Bill? What say you?
Is that we better move on. 'Cause
I mean, I could talk about AC/DC records all day.
what am I going to show when I get to the A's? Jesus.
Well, that's why I kind of wanted to hold back, but then I was like, yeah, you know what, Matt Bandy's right. It's okay with having
You
like
can show
doubling
your
up on
ABBA
AC/DC.
collection.
Actually, I think you will definitely have more ACDs than me because I think my ACDs was all cassette based, I think, until I got some CDs. Yeah, I was really hesitant to buy records of ACDC for some reason because I had bought them all on cassette so many times.
Well, if I can confess something, when I started collecting AC/DC records, it was for wall art, because at the time in the 90s, everything was grunge. If you were into hard rock, classic rock bands or whatever, you couldn't go to HMV and get it. Like you'd sift through like 20 Kurt Cobain posters, and maybe you'd find a Led Zeppelin one or a Jimi Hendrix one sometimes. But you couldn't find like AC/DC or Black Sabbath. Those bands were all looked down on. But what you could do was go to a thrift store or something like that, and they had tons of vinyl, and all that artwork was just right there that you could pin up onto your wall. So I had photos of it like a long time ago. I don't know where they went, but yeah, I used to have my walls all covered with the albums and that.
I just remember as a cassette buyer, I bought If You Want Blood. I think I bought that 4 times on cassette. I lost a copy. I broke 2 of them from playing it so much. And then, the 4th one. And I bought it so many times, like, I'm not buying it again on vinyl. Forget it. And then, the world changed with the internet.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess I'll throw some out there if you guys are insisting. I'm still in the C's, and we have a Canadian artist coming up. I'm guessing solo artist in the C's.
Canadian artist in the C's. Okay, think of it. No. Oh, Cohen. Okay.
So Leonard Cohen. Look at that artwork on the back.
Huh.
Is there anything we would know on that one? Closing
Song-
time?
Playable on mono equipment. For best results, use a stereo needle, though, guys. Let's see here. Cover photo by. Whoops, wrong hand. Machine. I don't know what that means. Let's take a look. It's got a nice sleeve. Ooh, super thick sleeve on there. That makes up for all the other sleeves. This has So Long, Marianne. Oh, that's a big one. Hey, that's no way to say goodbye. Stories of the street teachers. One of us cannot be wrong. It's a stereo copy. Suzanne. We know that. That's immaculate. Right there.
Oh.
So
Someone should play that someday.
Yeah. Everyone should have a Leonard Cohen collection. Okay. That's it for the Leonard Cohen, I believe, unless I'm misfiled here. Could be. So we're still in the C's, and we're going to, I guess, improvisational blues it up. Best of Cream.
Oh, nice.
I gotta say that has always been a terrible cover, though. I never understood that. Like, it's just vegetables. Why?
You know what that means, Kevin? Eggplant.
It's not shaped right. If yours looks like that, Bill, you should see a doctor.
So this is Best of Cream, Sunshine of Your Love badge, Crossroads, White Room, everything. Marketed by Polydor in Canada. 1973. Oh, we got some insert in here. This is neat. Seeing who's yawning. Jeez.
Mute your mic, Matt.
I know. Sorry, it's only cream. Jeez.
Oh, that is cool on the inside, though. I don't remember ever seeing that.
Yeah, I had inherited that from my father, and mine did not have that, or does not have that.
Yeah, because what is this? I don't know what this is.
I don't know either. Is it Cream? Might be from a different band.
What the?
You got a bootleg in there.
There's Rush stuff on here. Do you see that?
Yeah. That's Max Webster.
What?
I bet you that's a Max Webster thing. It says Russian Max Webster. That totally looks like something
on the other side, top corner.
Oh yeah, that's totally a Max Webster insert.
That's why mine didn't have that.
There's photos.
Yeah,
of,
I think you found that out there, man.
There's photos of the band on there. So I see Kim Mitchell's on there. On the other side, you got the Kimbo.
Yeah, he's like, "What is this?" It has the name, the pictures.
Well, that Pi Dubois, he wrote all the tunes for Max Webster. And I'm pointing at my screen like you could see what I'm pointing at.
Yeah.
Urging along with
do your hair like that, Matt.
So that's interesting, eh?
I'll get there.
Max Webster in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
Nor Kim Mitchell. I do not accept the Patio Lanterns in my collection.
See, you just judge one guy on one song. It's not right.
So it does still have another sleeve in there, so we're good.
Yeah, that's
That's a
probably
good
the
sleeve.
sleeve it's supposed to have.
Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, about Cream. I hope you guys have seen that documentary on Ginger Baker, by the way, that I've been
That's fantastic. Yeah.
telling people about for the
Is
longest.
that the one where he punches the guy out at the end?
Yeah.
Where he's like 80 years old, takes a swing at him.
It's just chock full of so many good stories. And poor old Clapton, man. He thought he was rid of Ginger Baker, and he shows up in his next project.
Yeah.
And the guy, just a boondoggle with his money. Is this?
So, are you willing to take back some things you said about Clapton in the past? Because you were very angry with him, how he never stuck with the band. So now knowing how Ginger Baker was, did that give you some sort of understanding of how Clapton kind of just wanted to mosey on and try to get away from him?
I don't know
No
what
answer.
you're talking about.
No
I don't know
answer.
what you're talking about.
That's your lack of answer speaks volume.
Oh, let me fix this sleeve here while I get a second. Ooh, it's got an easy access sleeve. That wait for later. Speaking of
Slow hand.
Clapton,
Yep, that's a good one.
Again, marketed by Polydor in 1977. is.
Very nice.
As well, there's a really good Clapton documentary out that's floating around. Came out a couple years ago. Looks pretty good. Yo.
Did you talk about that band one that's on the
Yeah,
movie
I did.
channels right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just taped it yesterday.
I like this ad here in the middle. Right in the crack. We Were Brothers, or We Once Were Brothers.
When we're brothers?
It's excellent. It's very Robbie's side of things.
Yeah.
But he does have some of, collaborators of Levon's to give Levon a voice in it. But, history of Eric Clapton. History is definitely one thing this guy has.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a lot of trips to the clinic too.
Oh yeah.
What do we got here? Specially priced 2-record set from Polydor, England. You got some words in there. Like your words. And whoops. Ooh. Woo.
Oh, Bill. It's time to let it go.
Now that will still play fine. I put on that Hendrix this week, the one I showed last week, the In the West, that was very rough, and it sounded, you could hear some pops and stuff, but it was really good. It was really good. Second one. Okay, maybe when I was younger, I just liked listening to him so much, and didn't like fighting with the stupid sleeves, so I threw them out.
Well, younger you was dumb.
College, right? Chris Roberts with the LSD and shit. Yeah, you can't look after your records.
Chris Roberts was buying Slipknot CDs. So.
No, still in those.
I bet you these had those plastic sleeves that are so hard to friggin' deal with. That's why I turfed them. If I'm responsible for turfing them, which I'm not going to say I am. But as a record collector, we take what we can get. If you find records, you got to grab them when you can. Deal with it later. So when those sleeves come in at Amazon, I'll pick them up. They're on my wish list.
Mm-hmm.
This one's in perfect shape. 1974.
That's a good one too.
That one groove looks weird, eh?
It does.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Wondering if it's a camera thing or
It's just deep, man.
must be an acoustic intro.
Or is it like a long pause?
Pregnant pause.
It kind of doesn't show up in real life here. But okay, still on with Clapton. Even though Kevin said I spoke ill of him.
Well, you did. That's a good one too. I remember bringing that over to your house. And you're like, "Oh, it's too mellow, dude. It's too mellow."
Yeah,
You
too
did.
mellow.
Yeah, it's kind of mellow. So mellow.
Lay Down Sally, Worried Life Blues, After Midnight, Double Trouble, Cocaine, Further On Up the Road. This is blues, man.
Yeah, I know. I got nothing but a mellow from you.
He looks like he's on some cocaine.
I remember me and Kevin would have a fight over Clapton in The Last Waltz, and I would say how Robbie kicked Clapton's ass.
Oh,
and
no.
guitar off. I remember those conversations.
Yeah. No. Clapton didn't even have his guitar strap on right, and he still outdid Robbie.
Yeah, he really did. It was pretty good. Okay, let's see what the other one looks like here. See these sleeves? I'm just wrestling with them. Ooh, beautiful shape. What's this? Is this live album?
Yeah, double live.
From Japan. Budokan. 79. Released in 80.
It's
That was
good.
the place to go, huh? For live albums.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like the Cheap Trick live album in Budokan and
Yeah,
They
Bob.
Clapton.
Well, they would get really good crowds there too, and you know,
Okay.
get a good deal to record. Live albums were the shit in the 70s. Everybody
Yeah.
wanted doing that. Frampton Comes Alive.
Yeah,
sold a
that-
bajillion
that's
copies,
still-
and then everybody
Yeah.
just wanted to get that.
That was
lead.
the best-selling album for a long time.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting little documentary to find out what the deal is with Budokan, why they got all that. See these? These are
Yep.
pieces of shit.
Yeah, they're better than nothing though. They're better than nothing.
Gone. There's
Uh,
got a little info sheet here for you
yeah.
and the albums. The Cream of Eric Clapton. It looks
I
like
didn't know
I
that
wanna
came
see
out
that.
on vinyl.
Don't show that.
a lot of tracks packed on there. Holy.
Wow.
I didn't even know that came out on vinyl. Sarah and I have 2 copies of that on CD.
From Polykill. Holy, still more Clapton. Hey, remember I was finding German stuff in earlier episodes? I got another one.
After Midnight.
What's up with that?
Mm.
Obviously, whatever yard sale I got this from, they brought it back from the homeland. All German.
Grace Hits, it looks like.
You know, the price on there is like 11L.
Lyra, maybe?
How many albums has he put Layla on? Oof. And we'll take a look at the vinyl on Carousel Records, made in West Germany. Yeah, that looks really good. Look at the big, thick bands there.
Mm.
Look at them.
Strong division between those songs.
So there you go. That's the Clapton collection. Still got more C's to go, but we'll hold off for a little bit and bring it on over to Matt Bandy. We haven't heard from you in a while.
I'm ready. I got my my bill pick for the week. This is my recommendation for you. This is a newer band. They've been around for a couple of years. I believe they're from Cincinnati, Ohio. Name of the band is called Electric Citizen, and they are I would call them a heavy psych band, heavy psychedelic, with female vocalist. This came out on Writing Easy Records, which is a real small kind of boutique label out of Hermosa. I believe they're in Huntington Beach. This album came out a few years ago. But yeah, this is my my pick for you, Bill. I think you might dig this band.
All right, I wrote that down.
Yeah, Satine, I believe is the name of this record. This is their first LP. They have another one out that I haven't listened to. But this, yeah, real 70s sounding, fuzzy guitars. But I dig that sound with female vocals especially, and she's got a good voice on her. So yeah, this is my Bill pick.
I'll take it. Electric Citizen.
Yeah, some heavy like keyboard kind of sounds in there too, reminiscent of a like Deep Purple.
And who does the vocalist remind you of?
Nobody. She just Really cool. I just dig female vocals with that sound. A little change of pace here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this artist. You guys ever heard of Clarence Gatemouth Brown?
No, but I want to.
So he is a kind of a blues roots guy from, I believe, West Texas. But this was one of the first records I got from. Well, I inherited this from my parents' record collection, and this was signed by Clarence Gatemouth Brown.
Oh, that's awesome.
It says, "Best wishes to Gwen and Wayne, 7/10/1980." So this came out about a year before I was born. They saw him live, and my mom said she wanted the record signed, and went up and got it signed by him. So yeah, this is it's good stuff. It's if you like blues music, you'll dig it. He's got a bunch of records out. This is really the only one that I've listened to or heard. But yeah, cool stuff.
She just got it signed. No further story.
No further.
No
Nope.
further.
My dad was with her, so
I don't think that would stop Clarence.
no, probably
No.
not.
He didn't look like he said no for an answer.
See that photo on the back? That looks like something. Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
very nice.
Got the cigarette there. That dude's a cool dude.
I think he plays the fiddle too. So on this record, he plays the guitar, the fiddle, the viola, the electric mandolin, the harmonica, and vocals. And yeah, the music's kind of all over the place. There's also a pedal steel guitar, an electric dobro, trumpet, flugelhorn, and a flute. So yeah, this one's kind of
Wow.
all over the place. It's kind of hard to describe him as just a blues musician, because there's so many other influences in the music too, at least on this record. But yeah, check this guy out. Let's see. Okay, I'll show two more records here. So this band is a band from Seattle, Washington. A band that I really got into when I was in college, when I was introduced to these guys. The name of the band is the Murder City Devils. They play they're a punk rock band, but with emphasis on the rock and roll, and a lot of kind of garage rock sound in it too. But what's cool about these guys is it's kind of real dark sounding. Like they also use keyboards in the records too. It's just a real unique sound. I think you guys might like this band if you check them out. But these were repressed quite a few years ago by there's a shot of the band by Sub Pop Records. They repressed these records on a marble vinyl. But yeah, this was one of my favorite bands in college, and really cool stuff. Any of you guys heard this band at all?
Nope.
No.
Great name though.
Yeah. So if you were to listen to a record by them, this is kind of for me where they hit their signature sound. The Empty Bottles, Broken Hearts was their second full length, but this record here is their third full length, In Name and Blood. This is kind of really where they hit their sound, and this was the first record that I heard of them. But yeah, this gets a lot more dark and brooding kind of sounding. A lot more emphasis on the keyboard on this record. Yeah, this is so good. But this actually has the Neil Diamond cover, the "I'll Come Running," and this was kind of my introduction to Neil Diamond. And I was like, hey, if this band likes Neil Diamond, I should give him a chance, right?
Yeah.
But this also has a cover of a Misfits song, "Hybrid Moments." I believe this was only available on this recording of the record. But this is one of my very nostalgic band. I still listen to this band a lot, but a lot of memories tied, especially to this record. So yeah, if you're gonna listen to this band, check this record out here in Name and Blood. I would recommend starting here first.
When did these albums come out? Are they from the 90s?
This record was released on. This was, I believe, originally released on Sub Pop. This came out in 2000, and this record here was from '98, and their self-titled was maybe a year or two before that. So like mid '90s, late '90s is when their first two records came out.
The second record looks like they're playing off of Sin City or something. Their font looks really close to it.
Yeah, I could see that.
The other record.
Oh, this one here?
You can't see that.
Yeah, it's like the Sin City font.
I don't think Matt agrees with you. He's really looking deep in there. And he's not seeing it.
No.
Maybe.
Nice try,
It's okay. Bill is wrong once in a while. It's okay to call him out on it. It's fine.
Please do. Come on, you guys got to admit that looked like the Sin City movie font. Come on.
Hey, one question for you, Bill. I was reading the comments. Do you run a commune?
Part-time, yeah.
Oh, okay. You sell electric lettuce on the side? I don't even know what electric lettuce is. Is that a slang for weed?
It's a good
Must
band.
be, huh? And do you walk barefoot?
Never.
And
Never.
how do you feel about Stevie Nicks?
Well, she ruined Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, she did.
Buckingham.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, because the poor techno dork was asking all these questions, and you were totally ignoring him, and now he's gone now. He's never even going to hear the answers.
He
Maybe
knew
he'll catch the replay.
I was watching.
All right. You better send him a private message and reply.
Kevin, do you need this? Like, you got some Max Webster albums. You should
do.
check to see if you need that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll take a look and see.
It's from 1980, and I don't know what album it is, but there's the tracks. You can pause it later
Okay.
when you watch the replay to see how you looked.
I do that sometimes, yeah. Thanks
Sure.
for calling me out on that. Yeah,
Well, quality check.
yeah that's
Chris
what I'm doing.
Roberts, do you still got any more for us, or did you shoot your load already?
Well, I do, but I mean, my collection isn't as extensive as you guys. And if I ever want to be on another episode, I got to hold back some. But I do have, this is their debut album. Okay. It was a little band that Eazy-E discovered himself. They're from Cleveland, Ohio. And this is Bones, Thugs, and Harmony.
Nice.
Creeping on a come up. And this cover's seen a little better days, and it got dropped. But the tape still plays really well, even though I wouldn't listen to it on cassette. But it still looks pretty good. This got a lot of miles back in the day. And also, I got a movie suggestion. Have you guys ever seen Moon?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, that's
Awesome.
a great movie.
I love
Yeah,
it. I have
it's really
it
good.
on
It was sitting
Blu-ray,
right here, and I just felt like, why not throw this out here? This is an excellent sci-fi movie. I never hear anybody talk about it. I'm not saying I discovered or anything, but you just never see it being mentioned much.
We did a whole film dango on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, besides you, of course, the legend. But I just mean, like in media itself, there's not like a lot of YouTube videos on it and stuff. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's a really cool movie, and it's got a nice little twist at the end, so it leads up to something. It has what I feel like is a satisfying payoff.
Yeah,
And,
that's a great movie. That was
Yes.
David Bowie's son that directed that.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know if he wrote it too, but I know he directed that. And I think that movie got made during the writer's strike or some strike in Hollywood where that was made. So they had a lot of like different people came together to make that movie. But yeah, that movie's great.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Unfortunately, you can't follow it up. Like anything he's tried to come out since hasn't been as good as Moon.
Hey, at least he had this one moment, right?
Yeah.
What's cool about that movie too is it's science fiction, but it's a little more hard-boiled science fiction. There's a little more actual kind of science that it's goes into it, and you don't see that with a lot of modern day or science fiction. That's a little more grounded in actual science.
Right. Well, and what I also like about it is it's very you do get the isolating feel because for the majority of the movie, the main character is the only character you see, and it definitely makes you feel like you're on the moon.
Oh, another addendum to this, as I'm reading it further, it's like Rush and the Max Webster people together on this one album, and it's called Battle Scar.
Yeah, it really just literally says that right there.
Yeah.
It's not like you discovered it. It's right there, dude.
I finally read
it the first time you showed it. I pointed, I said it earlier. It says it right there, and you looked right at it. I saw you reading it.
Max Webster used to open for Rush all the time. They wrote on Rush's coattails for a long time.
Should be a pretty good album, I would think, except for the
Max Webster's a fantastic band. They're great. I that's why I showed some of their albums on here. They're a solid Canadian band.
All right, you got some AC/DC for us?
I do. So we were talking about If You Want Blood, You Got It. You said you bought it 4 times. I bought it a few times too. Here's one time I bought it. This was thrown in with a lot. That a friend of mine was actually getting rid of a bunch of records. He was selling them for someone else, and I didn't have it at the time, and it was kind of roached up. Wasn't the best condition. Kind of looked a lot like one of Bill's records.
It's the greatest cover though. Man,
it didn't.
So cool.
It didn't have a sleeve in it, so what I did was I put a paper sleeve on there to protect the record.
Poser.
Even though the record, it looks okay. That looks pretty good, but it was really a scratchy record. Like there was a lot of static, a lot of pops in it, so it was okay, but it wasn't great. So again, what I did, because the record wasn't perfect, was that I bought a perfect copy, because that's what you do, right? When you truly love the music, you want to hear it the way it's meant to be played. So this is a reissue. So I have an original and a reissue. And I'm not a fan of the cover, to be honest. I never liked the way that it looked like it's smeared in Vaseline. Kind of everything's out of focus. And I'm sure they did that to get around some censorship. Like they felt like if they made it look like a dream or something like that, then Angus isn't really getting impaled. There he is on the back. That same effect. I've never been a big fan of it, but
I love it.
And again, this is what real fans do. It comes like this is the sleeve on the inside for it, but you want to preserve that, right? So what you do is you use one of the paper ones and you put the record in.
Pro tip.
How is your record going to wreck the original sleeve?
You've not heard of ring wear? Wear and tear, pulling it out, all that stuff. You've never heard of these things? Oh, that's right. You don't listen to your record, so you wouldn't experience this stuff, right?
Man.
But when you listen to them a lot and you take them out, so this way you can just leave that in there, and then you can just pull this out.
Well, you can do anything with money, guys. Come on. Some of us work for it.
It's what you prioritize. I drive around in a 2012 Honda Fit that has no air conditioning, and other people drive around in big SUVs and put 100,000 kilometers on it in a couple of years.
That's a second home to me.
That's what some people do. You know, it's all what you want to prioritize. What was that? What you got? Climate control in your car? Climate control? I got an on and off switch. That's what I got. Heat goes on, heat goes off. I also my Highway to Hell was a little bit roached as well. It had a scratch in it. And that it's wall art now, so I bought had to get an updated copy of it. And of course, these all go onto the wish list, and when they go on sale, that's when you pick them up too. Haven't opened it yet, though. Haven't opened this one. I really should.
Yeah, open it. Let's see what's in there.
It's just I don't have my knife here, so I can't. I'll do it on the next round. I'll go get my knife. There you go. I can find it.
That was the last record with Bon Scott, right?
This was the final one. This was the first one they did with Mutt Lange as the producer. So this was kind of like their more poppy hit, if you will. He really refined their sound for the radio, and that's where they really started to take off. And again, so then the next one is Back in Black. This is the big one. Bon Scott passed away in December of '79, and by July of 1980, they had a new singer, Brian Johnson, and this was the big hit with all the.
So I got a question for you. Question for you, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
So that record, Bon Scott died in what, 79?
Yep.
And that record came out in 1980.
Which one? Highway to Hell.
Back in Black.
Back in Black came out in 19. Yeah, it was less than 6 months later. They had a new singer.
Is there any recordings of the tracks with Bon Scott singing on? Okay.
No, a lot of people think there are. I am not a conspiracy guy. I believe the band. I know for a fact these guys would want to make money. If there were recordings with Bon Scott on, a lot of people believe that Bon Scott wrote all the songs on this album because it is so good, and the quality of it is so good. And Brian Johnson hasn't. He's kind of touched that again, but has never reached that level. But if you really listen to it, Bon Scott is a real comedian. He's got like a way with words. He's a real poet. I know a lot of it is like, crotch rock, talking about girls giving blowjobs and whatnot. But it's really like he's always having fun with things, where Brian Johnson is really angry. He's like angry at one, like giving the dog a bone, That's Brian Johnson and really Angus and Malcolm's sense of humor. And that's why it's different.
Yeah, I never thought of that, never crossed my mind until right now, that if there were ever any recordings of, how cool would that be though? That would be so cool to hear those.
Yeah,
songs
they apparently like the closest they ever got was Bon Scott and Angus got together to, work on some riffs, it was Bon Scott on the drums. He never had any sort of melody or lyrics or anything like that. It was just Bon Scott on the drums. Angus was playing guitar. So he played like maybe a one or two riffs with him, but nothing, ever made it to a recording or anything like that. They were set to in, I think, January, and he died in December,
Mm-hmm. Then they never played any of those songs live, like working them out, or
like it was never recorded. It was just like a one little session, and that was it. Nothing was ever.
No, I'm saying like when they were touring. Sometimes touring bands when they're. No. I guess if they didn't have those songs written, then, they wouldn't have played that.
At the time, like the band, like this was the 70s. Bands like didn't spend 5 years between. I know Deke he's a conspiracy guy too. I read the book, Deke. You're an expert on everything but this. Okay. There was never any. There was a lyric book, and some people say that there were lyrics in it, but none of it's ever been like. I mean, fans just like to sit there on the internet and just make up crap as they go. If there was something there, they would want to make money off of it. I'll give you the perfect example is what's happening right now. If they had lyrics from Bon Scott, they would absolutely take those lyrics and record them with Brian Johnson and make money off it. There's absolutely no way that they would have passed that up, especially at the time where the band was in 1979, they were $1 million in debt. This $1979 $1 million in debt. They're starting with a brand new singer, which never works with any band. This was like they were putting everything all in on Back in Black. And it was a big risk, a big gamble, because they were putting the band even more in debt. But their hope was that the Back in Black would make money and they'd be able to continue on. If there were songs, lyrics that they had with Bon Scott, like that Bon Scott wrote, they would absolutely have used them and said, hey, Bon Scott passed away, but we have like some of the lyrics that he was working on and we're putting them to music. How do I know this? Because it's exactly what they're doing with Malcolm Young right now. Malcolm Young apparently had a bunch of riffs that he worked with Angus, and that's what this next album that they have is going to be. It's all going to be Malcolm Young's, well, most of it or some of it. No one knows really how much until it comes out, but they're using Malcolm Young's riffs on the next album. Why? Because they want to make money, and they want to use the riffs that he wrote.
They've been threatened. Like there's been supposed to be an awesome, like a big time featured Bon Scott documentary. For years, they've been saying it's coming out next year, and it never comes out. It's always been quashed.
It's quashed by the band. It's quashed by the band because they are they want to do it justice, right? Like Bon's mom is still around. They're really close with her and the family, and they don't want something out there that's just. Because Bond had a really, he wasn't a nice boy. And, he did a lot of nasty things. And they don't want to dwell on that. They just want to dwell on the good things. It's like, and it's like Queen and the Freddie Mercury thing and that. Eventually they caved because they needed the cash. But, like for the longest time, you don't want to dwell on all the bad stuff. And you know what? That Freddie Mercury movie sucked. And it sucked because they didn't tell the stories that are interesting, that are bad, but they don't want to crap on his memory. And so that's what I do. And yes, the time frame. Okay, time frame for you. Bond dies in 1980. Brian Johnson's hired, records Back in Black, and they're playing at Thunder Bay. July 1980, 5 months later. Yes, they did that all the time, though. They did that all the time in the 70s. This was a 70s band that needed to constantly record and crank out new material all the time. That's what they were doing before. So I could see that being a conspiracy thing if they came out with an album and then they would wait 5 years before coming out with another album, then another 5 years. But they were doing that all the time. They were constantly coming out with new material. So why is it a controversy that they came out with new material?
Well, again, Back in Black is so polished, though. It is just so polished.
It's a really good record. Everything just came together.
There's one thing where it's Bob Dylan can put out a record every 3 months because it's just him and the mic. But Back in Black is.
This is like Mutt Lange had something to prove. The band had something to prove. Everything came together with the songwriting, and they just worked like dogs, and they got it out there. They wanted another hit record, and that's what they got.
Before that record, you said they were in the red.
They were $1 million in debt,
and that record got them in the black.
That's why it's called Back in Black. Yes.
Is it really?
Well, it's part of it. Like it was like a lot of it was like that they wanted to get back.
To kill my joke. Damn it! I thought it was back because it was like Back in Black in memory of Bon Scott.
Well, it is. It is a part of that. It's all encompassing of it. I mean, like some of it is, like a lot of people are upset because one of the songs is called Have a Drink on Me. Wow, the songs are in the wrong order on this. I never noticed that before. This is the reissue. They got Have a Drink on Me in this last song. That's not the last song. The last song is Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution. Anyways, and Have a Drink on Me is supposed to be a tribute to Bon Scott. They're drinking Buddy, and a lot of people took offense to that because Bon Scott choked on his own vomit from drinking too much, and they kind of said, well, that's a slap in the face. These are the fans I'm dealing with, so they just, everyone's got to look at controversy into everything. You try to do something nice, it's like, oh, that's a really mean thing. And it's like, come on. All right.
What about Axl Rose? What, you eagerly awaiting the new album with him on it?
No, I'm not. I am fine with Axl, though. I thought Axl really cleaned up his axe. I'm trying to make a pun there, but it's not working. But no, he's really cleaned up his act. He was totally professional with AC/DC. He never missed a gig. He didn't pull out any of that crap. He was actually doing AC/DC and Guns N' Roses at the same time.
That's pretty cool.
Totally commendable. I can't. He cleaned up his act. So hats off to him. And I haven't. The only album I like is Appetite of Destruction. But whatever they come out with next, if it sounds good or whatever, I'll give it a listen.
You don't like Use Your Illusion?
I think Use Your Illusion is one. there's like a 140 to 50-minute album that's kind of buried in just way too much pomp and circumstance. It's way too long to have 1 and 2. If they would have just made it like a 40-minute, 50-minute record, I think there's a solid thing. I've done it before, actually. I've taken stuff and I've cut it out and I've re-edited it on my own. I call it Mars Your Illusion. Check that. Yeah. And I have a copy of it here somewhere. And it's all like it's just the good cuts. So there you go. All right.
Wow.
And Deke says, "Don't lose your hair." Your hair, yes. Deke, I know. I'm very passionate about this stuff. Very passionate. Don't knock my band.
Hair jokes, man. How childish.
I know, eh? Jeez. Grow up.
Well, we got
Amateur.
Spirited there at the end.
Oh, what's happening? What was that? That was the devil going away. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. I can't argue with this guy. Goodbye.
I don't know what that is.
Someone's air conditioning turn on?
Oh, I mute Chris and it goes
Chris
away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Chris Roberts' thing.
But nothing's changed, though.
Oh, there it went away.
You just needed to talk.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. So that put us over our time. That Spirited AC/DC Bon Scott.
Still have so much more to talk about, though.
Oh, good. Well, that gives you next week's stuff. I still have
guess
stuff
so.
too, but what can we do? You can't have a 3. We lost Matt Bandy there for a while at the 1.5 hour mark. And then you brought him back with AC/DC, luckily enough. So that was good.
Oh well, I one yawn, okay.
It's been a long day for Matt Bandy.
I'll quickly give you my preview of next week.
All right, I got it. I'm writing it down so I can remember next week. I do need that record.
Hey, you wait till you see what this one looks like. Because if I recall, I've been looking for a good copy of this for a long time.
Does the desk open up?
Hey, that's next week. Next week.
Is that the one with the desk open up and there's panties inside the desk? Is that the
Yeah.
one? Right.
Yeah. Not mine.
Oh, I thought
Panties
they
are
were.
long gone. No.
Good night, Deke.
Yeah, thanks, Deke, for hanging with us for this whole time and getting Kevin's hair all
I'm
tightly
good.
wound
I'm
up.
just passionate. I love it. I could talk about it all day. It's good.
It's good. Who else? We had Frantic Josh stop in. We had Sean from Game.
Oh, this is where we lose Bill.
Oh, Bill.
Oh,
He turned his
dude.
doorbell back on. Gee whiz.
His daughter Googled something, and that was it. We lose Bill.
It went so good for so long. Am I back?
Yeah,
You're back.
Sort of.
Okay, I was just thanking the chat people, and then the chat people, thanks for popping in. This has been episode 8 of the vinyl collection. I guess we'll be back for more. Oh, Steven Catmax Gaming popped in at the end. That's good. Hey, Steve. We'll be back for more in a week because I am not through the C's yet. Still more C's to go, and then but getting close. B's and A's, and then the big stuff comes out where I show you people and you people and you and you and you on my colored vinyl. That's it.
Yeah, he's certainly showing us.
Dude, yeah. Poor Bill. You had a good run, buddy.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
close.
Did your door thing turn on? Is that what happened? What's that thing called?
What was it?
What is he got
Birdhouse?
the?
Oh, maybe he's got a camera on his bird feeder going all the time. Is that what's happening? Bird feeder.
That's a
camera
good idea.
going on.
I do want to get that going somehow. Webcam for the bird feeder.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know if I'm back. I'm just going to say thanks again to everyone. Matt Bandy, thanks so much for being here. Kevin Buried on Mars, Chris Roberts. We had Jake from Polykill Podcast, Retro Fandango, Kevin Sale. I mean, lots of videos, lots. And Matt Bandy's got all kinds of stuff going on. He just appeared on the Retro Fandango podcast. Check that out. Chris Roberts is due to have another Dollar Dorks very soon. I can't wait for that.
Think so.
And subscribe to this channel because you'll see lots of stuff happening on this channel as well. So that's it. Thanks everyone for joining us on the Vinyl Collection. See you next week. Bye.
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 Bye.